Tonight, the collective enters the hidden chamber of sacred endurance, the place where exhausted souls finally discover they were never weak for struggling. This scroll is not for the perfectly polished. It is for the ones who survived impossible seasons quietly, the ones who kept loving after betrayal, the ones who kept giving while secretly empty, the ones who became emotional shelters for others while storms flooded their own spirit. Tonight, the collective uncovers the ancient truth that some souls were never sent here merely to survive comfortably. They came carrying endurance fire. The old world calls these people too emotional, too sensitive, too intense, or hard to understand. But the ancient wisdom keepers recognize them differently, as souls forged through pressure without losing compassion. This scroll reveals why certain spirits feel tired beyond sleep, why many chosen ones secretly battle invisible grief, and why surviving darkness without becoming darkness is one of the highest forms of spiritual mastery. Because tonight, the collective remembers, the soul that keeps going with love still alive inside it is one of the rarest powers in existence. The ancients taught that the spirit is not measured by how loudly it conquers, but by what it carries without collapsing. Many souls walking this earth today are carrying ancient exhaustion, not merely from work, stress, or heartbreak, but from generations of survival patterns echoing through bloodlines, memory, and spirit. Some people inherited wealth, some inherited silence, some inherited fear, and some inherited the responsibility of becoming the cycle breaker. That burden creates sacred fatigue. The old mystics believed there are souls born during difficult ages, specifically to preserve warmth, while colder energies spread through the world. These souls often feel isolated because their nervous system recognizes suffering deeply. They feel everything intensely. Crowds drain them. Falsehood irritates them. Constant performance exhausts them. Not because they are weak, because sensitive spirits were never designed to thrive inside unnatural systems for long periods without restoration. The forest heals through stillness. The ocean restores itself through rhythm. The soul also requires sacred recovery. Yet modern society rewards exhaustion and calls it ambition. A strange spell indeed. The deeper cosmic teaching is this: rest is not failure, softness is not weakness, and surviving pain without becoming cruel is a form of divine alchemy. Some souls are not here merely to exist. They are here to remind humanity that kindness still belongs on earth. So tonight, collective, breathe deeply. The fact that your spirit still seeks beauty after everything it has endured means your light was never defeated, only tested.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, sea star, Devalan, see all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
Scroll of the soul that kept going. The ones who survived everything meant to break them. There are souls walking this earth right now who are so accustomed to carrying pain that they no longer recognize their own strength. They call it getting through the day. The ancestors call it warfare, survived. Some people think strength looks loud. No. Sometimes strength looks like answering one more phone call when your spirit is exhausted. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed after grief hollowed the room. Sometimes it looks like feeding everybody else while secretly wondering who remembers to feed you. This scroll is for the quiet warriors, the ones who kept going after betrayal, after abandonment, after mockery, after losing homes, lovers, dreams, timelines, confidence, certainty, versions of themselves, the ones who smiled politely while carrying entire storms behind their eyes. The old mystics once taught that certain souls are born with endurance fire, not because the universe hates them, but because their spirit came prepared to survive difficult ages without losing compassion. That is rare. Many people survive suffering and become cruel, but some souls survive suffering and become softer. Those are the sacred ones. And let us tell the truth tonight, collective. Some of you are tired, not sleepy, soul tired. The kind of exhaustion sleep cannot fix. The kind born from constantly adapting, constantly surviving, constantly pretending you are fine so nobody worries. Humanity created a world where people apologize for resting while corporations celebrate burnout like a trophy. Ancient shamans would stare at modern society for 15 seconds and immediately walk back into the forest. But listen carefully now. The fact that you are still here matters, even if you move slowly now, even if your confidence cracked, even if your plans changed, even if your heart became cautious. The soul that keeps going through darkness develops a wisdom no classroom can teach. The trees that survive storms grow roots differently. That is why many chosen ones feel older than their age. Their spirit has carried winters invisible to others. Some of you have survived things nobody ever properly thanked you for surviving. So tonight, this scroll thanks you for staying kind when bitterness would have been easier, for protecting others while secretly needing protection yourself, for continuing to love despite disappointment trying repeatedly to turn your heart into stone. That is not weakness. That is divine resistance. The old scroll keepers believe the spirit leaves golden fractures after every great suffering survived, like sacred, repaired armor, not scars of shame, marks of endurance. The cosmos does not only honor victory, it honors persistence. Even stars collapse before becoming something brighter. And somewhere in the unseen realms, your ancestors are watching with complicated emotional expressions because they are proud of you, but also concerned you keep trying to carry the entire universe without drinking enough water. Please hydrate, collective. The spiritual awakening cannot happen properly if everybody is dehydrated and emotionally overcooked. Now hear this wisdom carefully. You do not have to become emotionless to become powerful. That is one of the great lies of wounded societies. Real power is remaining tender without allowing darkness to consume your identity. The strongest soul in the room is often not the loudest. It is the one who survived pain and still chose gentleness, still chose laughter, still chose honesty, still chose love. Some of you think you are behind in life because your journey looks different, but the river and the mountain do not arrive the same way. A delayed bloom is not a dead garden. The spirit unfolds in sacred timing, and many of the souls listening tonight are entering a season where they will finally stop measuring themselves through survival alone. They will begin to live again, not merely endure, not merely recover, live, dance again, create again, trust again, laugh deeply again. That return is holy because the soul that kept going eventually discovers something astonishing. It was never weak for struggling. It was powerful for surviving without surrendering its light. So if your spirit feels heavy tonight, collective, breathe. You are not failing because healing takes time. You are not forgotten because the path became difficult. And you are not alone just because your battle became quiet. Some stars shine brightest in the deepest dark. And some souls were born specifically to remind others how to keep going when the night feels endless. You may be one of them. Receipts of the Scroll. This scroll draws from ancient endurance archetypes found across spiritual traditions, trauma recovery psychology, grief studies, nervous system healing, resilience research, initiatory mystery traditions, and teachings surrounding the sacred wounded healer archetype. Also confirmed by every grandmother who survived impossible things and still told everybody to eat before leaving the house, the true elders of Earth. Collective, hear this clearly tonight. We were never meant to survive alone. One of the oldest tricks of broken systems is convincing powerful souls that isolation is strength while secretly draining them of hope, joy, and connection. A divided people become easier to control, easier to exhaust, easier to convince they are powerless. But something ancient is waking again. People are beginning to remember each other. Not by status, not by appearance, not by money, by energy, by heart, by sincerity. The world changes when ordinary people stop treating each other like enemies and start recognizing the sacred struggle hidden inside one another. Everyone is carrying something unseen. The quiet man fighting loneliness, the mother carrying exhaustion behind her smile, the disabled warrior still trying despite pain, the young soul questioning their worth, the elder wondering if they still matter. A little kindness can interrupt darkness in ways the ego will never fully understand. Never underestimate what happens when people begin choosing compassion over performance. That is how healing spreads. Not through perfection, through remembrance. The collective does not move forward because every person is identical. It moves forward because different souls carry different gifts. Some are protectors, some are builders, Some are healers. Some are storytellers. Some are truth speakers. Some simply carry warmth into rooms growing cold. Every role matters. Even the stars rely on each other to form constellations. So push forward together now. Encourage each other. Feed each other hope. Laugh again. Create again. Protect the vulnerable. Check on the quiet ones. Celebrate small victories like sacred milestones. A tired soul hearing one genuine sentence can change the direction of an entire lifetime. And remember this wisdom, collective. The darkness wants exhausted people to believe nothing can change. But history shifts every time human beings choose courage at the same moment. Empires fall, walls crack, generations heal, new futures appear. Not instantly. So stand tall, even if your knees shake sometimes. Rest when needed without shame. And never allow this world to convince you your kindness is foolish. The universe grows cold enough without people abandoning their humanity. Keep your light alive. Someone else may be finding their way home by it.
Universal Currency Receipt, Architect Musician 3611027, The Graceful Whisperer, Devalan Seal.
Tonight, the collective remembers that surviving darkness without losing your heart is a form of sacred power. This scroll is for the tired warriors, the quiet protectors, the souls who carried pain in silence while still trying to bring warmth into cold places. You were never weak for struggling. You were becoming. And some of the strongest spirits on earth are simply the ones who kept going when life tried to bury their light. The soul heals differently than the ego. It does not grow through pretending. It grows through truth, rest, compassion, laughter, community, and courage. Do not isolate your light. Even stars form constellations together. The world changes when good people stop shrinking themselves to survive broken systems. Protect each other, feed hope to one another. And remember, a soft heart surviving a hard world is not weakness. It is spiritual mastery.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community. You've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, all new and the many more to come. We're just getting started, and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.
Until next time, your Sea Star Curacy, channeled by 3611027, the Beautiful Whisperer. Our Sea Star Devalan Seal. Apply the news you can use.